Since you're looking at me right now, I'm assuming you're wondering what 5 retirement red flags you could avoid. I'd recommend you watch this video. I'm Jacob. I'm a financial advisor of 17 years with W.A. Smith Financial Group, and our team has one mission. It's that our clients focus more on their life and worry less about their money. Today, I am your guide on the 5 retirement red flags that we want you to avoid. Let's jump in. All right, guys, we are going to go over retirement red flags. As I mentioned, there's 5 of them that we look out for. The first one, and the most important one, because if this isn't there, we really have a problem, is no financial plan. Now, what we mean by that is when you go into retirement, one of the biggest changes is you're no longer receiving a paycheck. So where is that income going to come from? Do we know how it's going to be taxed? Do we know when to activate Social Security? And do we know how that financial plan is going to evolve over time? Number 2, the wrong advisor or wrong advice for those of you who do not currently work with an advisor. So as we save for retirement, there's really 3 phases. There's the accumulation phase. We work hard for this money. There's the preservation phase. As we get closer to retirement, we want to make sure that that money's taken care of. Then there's the distribution phase. Do we know how those distributions are going to look? Not just for ourselves in retirement, but in the event of our timely death, how would it go to our spouse or our beneficiaries? So that's one thing we look at from an advice perspective. Now let me hit on advisor real quick. A lot of people may not realize this, but there's plans and there's products. When you work with a fiduciary, you're getting a holistic plan where they're going to put you first. They're prioritizing you. This probably seems like common sense and something you may think everyone's doing, but in fact, they're not. If you're dealing with an advisor who's not a fiduciary, they really have what I would call a struggle when they meet with clients. It's an ethical dilemma. When you sit down with someone who's not a fiduciary, they're not a salaried employee, they're working off a commission basis. So if you come to them and say, hey, Jacob, I need something to help me take notes. I have 2 solutions for you. One's obviously going to be a little bit more efficient. The other will take notes, but is it going to be the most effective way? Probably not. So naturally, as a fiduciary advisor, I'm going to point you in this direction. However, if you're working with someone currently who's not a fiduciary, they are going to be paid commissions based off which way they direct you. If the highlighter gets them 10% commission and the pen gets them 2, what will they choose? The third thing we want to look at is not enough diversification. Not enough diversification. When we talk about diversification, this goes beyond a mix of equities and bonds, mid caps, small caps, large caps. We are talking about putting purpose to money. We want to make sure that we allocate dollars for certain phases in your plan or your retirement. Things to avoid, we're looking to avoid sequence of returns. If a recession comes, will your plan be okay? We work hard to protect people's financial plans so they're not blown up in one of these financial crises that we could see. Number 4, risk. This is my favorite one. People come in, they can be 30, they can be 90, and they inevitably think that their age and their wealth determines their risk. That is not the case. Let's go back to number 1. Your plan determines your risk. Once we have purpose to dollars, we know what you're going to need in the next 1 to 3, 3 to 5, 5 to 10 years. We can look at that and determine how much risk capacity you have based on your assets. That's the real way a risk score is determined. That and your belief on risk and how you feel and what would keep you up at night. Number 5, assuming life expectancy. Our jobs as advisors would be extremely easy if we were milk cartons and we had our expiration date tattooed on us. That would make insurance planning, income planning, investment planning a lot, let's just call it simpler than what we do here today. People will come in, they'll sit down with me and they'll say, Jacob, not a man or woman in my family has lived past the age of 70. So at the age of 70, I want my last check to bounce. Well, let me tell you, I've seen people with that attitude and they live to be 90. And in those situations, they can sometimes become a burden on their children, on their family, and on their loved ones. And we want to make sure we have a plan in place that you're not burdening those people that you care about. At the end of the day, it's about having a plan. But I will tell you right now, if your plan does not have these 5 things considered, that's a concern. And there may be some conversations that you need to have with yourself or your advisor to make sure that you avoid the retirement red flags. So now that you know the 5 retirement red flags to look out for, I'm going to encourage you guys to comment below with any questions that you might have on this video or any others. Please hit subscribe so that you can continue to get great information like this from us and our team. On to your next guide.